is our 1979 GMC K15 Sierra Grande trim model. It doesn't have really any of the trim left, and I've swapped out enough parts where it's half Chevy, half GMC. It's a really fun truck. I wanted one of these forever, and I looked for one that I could afford, and this is what we came up with. We got it from the original owners, and they had the certificates and everything where it got delivered with, you know, just a couple miles on it, and they were really cool people. They'd had it for its whole life, obviously, and learned to drive. The daughters had learned to drive in it. Really cool story. So we were happy to get it, and made a lot of memories with our boys fixing it up, getting it running. We call it Betsy, and so it's four-wheel drive, short bed, 350 with a 4-speed transmission. That's just the overview. When we got it in fall of 2020, it was not running. I got it to run a little bit after we got it, but it was low on compression. It was leaking a lot. It had basically been off the road since '92. They said they had just taken off the road and just used it around the farm. He had covered it in like a rhino liner and painted it John Deere colors, so it was all yellow and green. So when we got it, it was really intimidating. I'd never pulled a motor before or installed a new one or swapped or anything of that level yet. So we did that. My dad helped me out a lot, and we rebuilt the original 4-bolt main 350. We didn't do any mods or anything. We didn't put a cam in it. We didn't bore it out. We just went with stock, basically what it would have been from the factory. I did away with the quadrajet carburetor, and I just have a basic Edelbrock 4-barrel on there. With most of the things I do, which you'll see as we put up more videos, I'm definitely of the mentality, don't get it right, just get it running. And that definitely applies to Betsy. It's the project I've had the longest, and it's definitely MacGyvered together a few things. But it's fun. That's the way I like to do it. I like to just use what I have around to try and get it going. So that's what we've done with a lot of the little things. But like I said, so it's the rebuilt 350. Put long tube headers on it, to dual exhaust, which is just patched together, but it works right now. I need to get it to an exhaust shop and run duals, but it's got cherry bomb exhaust on it right now. It sounds decent, sounds like an old truck. So we rebuilt the motor, put an Edelbrock carburetor on it. The Edelbrock intake that I have on it now is a lot more stripped down. I don't have any emissions or anything. We don't have that here, so I don't have to worry about any of the smog or anything like that. So it made it pretty simple putting it all back together. So it doesn't technically have a lift in the front. I put new springs, and that definitely lifted up from where it was when we got it. It was super sagged. I might put a lift on it eventually, but for right now, it sits really level. I've got 33-inch mud tires on it. They're a little worn down. Original locking hubs. Didn't have to do too much to the front. I did extend the brake lines because they needed to be replaced, and I plan on lifting it in the future. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. Some of the body panels are pieced together. I believe both of the doors are off of other trucks, as well as one of the fenders. It had a fair amount of rust. I fixed it as best I could, just using fiberglass putty and Bondo and a little bit of metal work here and there. That's definitely not my specialty, so I did what I knew how to do, which was the cheap stuff. So you probably can't tell, it looks all dirty and dusty, but I put new insulation sound deadener and a new vinyl flooring kit, which helped out a lot. Driving around before, when it was just the metal, was really loud with the dual exhaust and the headers. It was just too much. So that was huge, doing that. It was worth spending the money to do that now that it's done and I can enjoy it. Like I said, the doors are from different trucks, different color here and there, a little rust here and there, but it's all right. It's an old work truck, an old trail truck. On the inside, I didn't do too much other than adding a tachometer, just a Bosch one. I just wired that up really easy, and then an aftermarket temperature gauge. Also, I'm just OCD. I like having multiple points to determine what temperature I'm running. So I've got the stock one as the stock position, and then I put an aftermarket one tapped into the intake. Like I said, it's a 4-speed. It's with the granulo, and then an NP205 transfer case, which is just awesome. It does really well. The 4-wheel drive in this is phenomenal. and it's really torquey in that first gear. It's great for pulling trailers and stuff like that, which I've pulled a few cars home with this, and it does really, really well. So in the back, I put 2-inch lift blocks. The leaves were kind of sagged down, and so I just went with that. And I had to get new U-bolts, obviously, but other than that, it's pretty much stock back here. The thing that really needs addressing are the shocks. I've got to get new shocks on this thing. But other than that, it's pretty much good to go. In the rear, I did put a proper hitch receiver on it. It had one when I got it, but it was just a plate bolted on right here. I didn't really trust that. I hauled a really heavy trailer to pick up a Mitsubishi mini truck for a friend, and it was just a lot, and it was kind of sketchy. It was like an hour and a half away, and after that, I went ahead and got this from a buddy of mine, and it's just a stock one, but it bolts to the frame. It's a lot sturdier, and so now I feel a lot more comfortable pulling trailers and cars. I've hauled a couple cars home now with this setup, and it's far superior. So that's Betsy, our 79 square body. I love this truck. It's one that I'll never sell, even with all its blemishes and rust and things that need addressing. There were so many memories with my dad and uncles and friends and our boys putting it together. I really love it. It runs great. Every time I drive it, it's just, I can't help but smile. I've always wanted one, and it delivers. The 4-speed and the 350 is the perfect combination for pulling stuff or cruising on the highway. The gearing is perfect for highway driving. It'll go 85 miles an hour at low RPM.